Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Vulnerability Hangover. I'm your host, Nikki, and this is Enzo, our emotional support dog. Today, we are going to be talking about my experiences in and specifically me being a bikini barista, since that's where I started off. And let's get into it. I started off as a bikini barista when I was 19 years old. I was kicked out of my parents' house at 18, so I have basically been fending for myself since I was 18, and I decided when I was 19 years old that I needed to make some extra money, and there was a bikini barista stand that had just opened 10 minutes from where I was living at the time, and I decided why not. Back when I first started, there wasn't a lot of bikini barista stands that were in my area, but there was one that was right up the street, which was our competition. And actually, the owner who owned the stand that I first worked at was one of the baristas that worked there, and she decided to open up a stand right up the road. The first stand that I worked at was right next to a smoke shop and a gas station. The location was extremely convenient because a lot of people would stop by our stand right before work, or when they were getting gas, or when they were picking up smokes. A lot of people would pop by in the stand. It was just like a really convenient location. I was 19 when I first applied, and I just walked up to the stand and let them know that I wanted to be a barista and I wanted to work part-time because I was also working as a waitress, but I wanted to make some extra money. And within a couple of days, the owner called me and set me up to train with one of the girls at the stand. My first day of training, I was trained by a super experienced barista who also worked at the stand way up the road. She helped the owner start the stand. It was kind of an overwhelming experience, but I just decided why the hell not and jumped into it. The shift that I worked was only a couple of hours, and the only prior barista experience that I really had was from a normal coffee stand, and it was one of those chain ones. I'm not going to say the name of it just in case, but I only worked there for a couple of weeks, and then I went to a different waitressing job after that. So I didn't have a lot of barista experience. It was quite overwhelming, and it was even more so overwhelming because I was in a bikini. So I ended up not liking the job very much, and I decided that I was just gonna do waitressing for a little while. So I stuck to that, and then within a couple of months I collected myself and was like, okay, I do kind of like this job. I think I could do it, and I think I could make some decent money. I went back to the coffee stand, and this time the owner trained me, and it was an overall really good experience. And I ended up working a couple times a week. I think I was working 3 afternoon shifts, which is where you typically start because afternoons are usually a lot slower. After I got the hang of it, I started getting offered morning shifts. So I would go to my barista job in the morning, and then at night I would close at my waitressing job. When I was 19 years old, that was pre-breast augmentation, although I knew that I wanted to save up for a breast augmentation, possibly going to college, and a new car, because at the time I was literally driving a beat up old Ford, and then I drove a really old BMW that was constantly having issues. So I was like saving up for that kind of stuff. I was very addicted to spray tanning and using a tanning bed, and I started getting filler in my lips, and I also was getting lash extensions as well. So I really started investing in myself and my looks at the time. So the type of clientele that you typically see going through these stands and the type of clientele that visited me were majority men. A lot of them were married. Sometimes couples would come through, but like I said, majority of the clientele were men. Sometimes people would roll through with their children, but I saw a wide variety of people come through specifically for me. One of my customers wrote to me, "I first met you and you were super chill and fun and would make fun of Love that for me. I miss seeing you guys. If any of you are listening, hello, I miss you and I love you, and thank you for following me for this entire time. It's been years. Sex work is not for the faint of heart. I think that if you are wanting to get into it, you should seriously consider the toll it can take on your mental health. It took a huge toll on my mental health. It revived my eating disorder, like I said. It made me think very negatively about my body. It made me a lot more materialistic and money hungry, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it was to the extreme where it was just like an overall bad money mindset. I also felt a little bit ashamed about what I was doing for work, and I knew that I couldn't do it long term. I don't think that if you are 18 years old, you should jump into it, because I don't think girls who are under the age of 25 should be working it. Your brain's not fully developed and you don't really have the mental capacity to take in all this stuff. Yes, I was 19 when I started. Knowing what I know now and what I went through, I would not have done it at 19. Of course, there are people who are younger, who are 18 and older, who can handle this job, but not everyone can. And I think when your brain is developing at that age, it's just not good to get in that line of work at all. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got a little bit more insight on what it was like being in. Please remember to approach things with an open heart and not be super judgmental towards people in this industry. It's hard out here. How people make their money doesn't really matter, and is real work. It's a lot of work, actually. I think it's one of the most taxing jobs there is out there. Not shaming any other job, it's just a lot of mental work, and a lot of people don't see it as that, but coming from someone who is in the industry, it's extremely hard. Please make sure to like, rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, and thank you so much for listening. I am looking forward to the next episode, and I hope you are too. Remember to be kind and love others. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Okay, love you, bye.